Hi everybody, and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront Opinion. So, let's see if today I can get myself kicked off YouTube. So that's the target. Now, so what I thought I'd do is speak about the leader of the trade union, the TUC. Okay, because he's gone on the record, contacted our wonderful Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and told him, don't rule out the EU Customs Union. Okay, so is he right or is he wrong? And in my position, now, one thing I will say is I did vote for Brexit. Okay, I can't deny it. And if I do, I'll be a liar. Okay, so I voted for Brexit. I believed in Brexit. Okay, I do, excuse me. So the question is he right? And this is the way I look at it. Okay, now there are people in this country who blame Brexit for the way that families are struggling up and down the country. Okay, there are people that blame COVID. There are people that blame Conservatives, and then you've got a group of people that blame Labour. And when you look at that, that's four different groups who are right. And I know I'm going to be seen as being evasive, but all four groups are right. Okay, because the reality is leaving Brexit caused damage to the country, less revenue. Okay, businesses got affected. Same with COVID. Now, the problem is, I know businesses. Okay, especially when I speak to accountants and everything, who say that companies that have been hit with reduction of revenue of, in essence, of up to 70 to 80%. If a business is losing 70 to 80% of revenue on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, they're not going to be able to invest. And if they can't invest, they can't get new staff. Okay, which means they're either going to face laying off staff and they're going to go into the welfare state that we have in this country, which is the problem that we got at the moment. They're arguably not going to be able to pay themselves a wage, and the companies are just going to be ticking over. Okay, and the argument is the directors of these companies are going to end up having to claim welfare, so benefits at the end of the day. Second problem is the Conservative Party, which is not generally, if you think about it, is normally seen as business friendly and especially rich people friendly. And over their tenure from 2010 to 2024, they weren't. They put corporation tax up. You know, I think corporation tax was somewhere around about 18-19%, and it's up to around about 25% at the moment, which doesn't help businesses. Because if you whack corporation tax up, that's coming out of businesses' profits, which stops them reinvesting, because businesses want to invest because that's how they make money, and then that's how they employ staff and bring and get people off welfare and bring them into companies. Okay, whether that's small to medium enterprises or that's big corporations. Okay, the other thing is that the Labour Party have done nothing to help business, because what did they do last year? They decided what we're going to do is we're going to hit businesses when it comes to income tax. Okay, when it for what it was done at a lower rate, which makes it harder then for employers to employ staff. So you've got Labour who are business unfriendly, and you've got Conservatives who are business unfriendly. So that is the fundamentals. Now, when you come to Paul Nowak, is he right? And I've said this in the past, and I do apologise for the noise. I've got a few kids over having a party in the other room at the moment, so I do apologise for the noise. Because I've got my daughter in there who does suffer from Down syndrome. I've got my wife's grandson in there, and I've got a few of my other children in there. So try and ignore it. So my personal view is Paul Nowak probably is correct, but we may have to consider it, because unless Labour are willing to take a punt and reduce taxes, which I would generally suggest they're not going to be willing to do anytime soon, we need to get business in, because businesses are collapsing like nothing else on this earth in the UK. And if you want to get people off welfare, you need businesses to be generating revenue. You need businesses to be getting sales. And to do that, you're probably going to face having to join a customs union with the EU. Now, the problem with that is I'm going to suggest what they're going to want, which I'd probably say 80 to 90% of the UK would go absolutely ballistic over. Freedom of movement and money. More money of the British taxpayer. I don't think they would ask us to join the EU or anything like that. So I suggest that they would want those two things. Now, freedom of movement in my book is non-negotiable. You can't accept that. You can't. Paying for access, I could accept that. I personally could. So, is he right? I would say he probably is. As Keir Starmer got the guts or the balls to ask the question, I would suggest say no. And I would suggest you would probably have to go to like a referendum, realistically, to be able to put it to the public. But I would say, me personally, whether people like it or not, and I know a lot of people are going to slate me for saying it, that the UK will probably be in a better financial position long term and in the short term if they considered over the next year joining a customs union with the EU. And it's not what I want to say at the end of the day, but with the way that governments are being run, and I don't think anybody say, "Oh yeah, but not, if we get Nigel Farage in, it'll change everything." No, he ain't going to change anything, because the fundamental thing, and there's plenty of MPs have said this, you can't do anything in Parliament with the way things are run, and MPs or people on the front benches do not run the country. It's the guys behind the scenes, the private secretaries. That's who runs the country. The Bank of England run the country. And that's the real reality. And until people wake up and realise, whether you have Reform, Conservative, Labour, Green, SNP, don't matter. None of them are going to be able to do anything. So let us know in the comments down below what you think. Okay, but for now, thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you again a bit later.